Welcome to Glyph Glitch, anyway. But yeah, I was talking about the Kevin Hart roast, and essentially there was a couple of controversial jokes. The one with George Floyd, he'd be like looking up from his grave, not breathing because he was laughing so hard. Now that joke has no comedic value, and it's just really a name drop for shock value. But the Charlie Kirk joke, how you comparing getting your neck blown out, but also getting a load blown into your throat, like there's a correlation there. There's comedic value. I think that's a funny joke.
Yeah. Well, Tony Hinchcliffe gets in trouble for the most unfunny jokes. It'd be helpful if one of his jokes that I've heard get all this controversy was, because the Puerto Rico joke wasn't, I know it's like a solid joke, but it wasn't funny or clever.
Well, I think it's clever because there is actually a pile of plastic garbage accumulating in Puerto Rico and nobody's doing anything about it because our government sucks. Clever. And I think addressing that, if that was truly his intention, was to like mention that and then like do the misdirect of calling the island. But I think
the only reason people should be able to be upset about the Tony Hinchcliffe joke is if Kevin Hart like didn't want him there and Netflix was like he has to be there, because getting mad at Tony Hinchcliffe for telling a distasteful joke is like getting mad at a candy bar for giving you diabetes.
Right, exactly. Well, that's what I'm like. I was watching a little bit of Dave Smith on Piers Morgan, and they were talking about like, where is the line? Is there a line? And the whole time I'm thinking like, the line is funny. Like, is it worth saying out loud? Is there a punchline? Is the intention to like find laughter in it? Then there you go.
I don't think
whether you think like it's a good joke or a bad joke, but like was it attempting to be funny? Is there a space where there is funny there, even if they didn't land on it? And like, I think if he reworked that George Floyd joke, and like, it's not like an unfunny idea, it's just the way it was presented wasn't funny. So like, you could talk about whatever, but also like the whole reason comedy is in cringy, dark, underground, sketchy places is so that you don't have to go there and listen to that shit. So when they put, I don't know, a roast on Netflix, like, don't click on it, you moron, if you're sensitive. And also, like, the idea of a roast is supposed to be like an ego death, and like your best friends ripping into your character flaws that you have to like come to terms with, but also like they do it lighthearted and funny. And doing a roast on Netflix isn't an ego death, it's the opposite. Like, especially if it's a Kevin Hart type character. So, I don't know.
Well, people are just looking for things to be outraged about. But it's so funny because the people who are, so mad at, like, or the people who are like, don't be mad about the George Floyd joke. They're mad about the Charlie Kirk joke.
Well, that's one of the things they were mentioning on Pierce. Like, one of the ladies on there was like, if they would have made a joke about some Democrat that got shot in the throat, Netflix would have never aired it. But because it was a Republican, Netflix, those woke motherfuckers will air it. And I'm like, that might be true, actually. But it doesn't matter. The joke should be allowed to be said either way.
You can edit this out. Where's he going?
Oh, I don't know. What did he have?
He had a bouquet of flowers and his hair was combed back.
Oh, he's got a date. Our little boy's got a date.
Is that what you do on flowers?
You got a date, Luke? Yeah, have fun, buddy.
I was wondering. Well, I also think it's a false equivalency as well. Like the Charlie Kirk and George Floyd thing is like Charlie Kirk.
Agreed, yeah. They're not the same character in the zeitgeist.
Does Charlie Kirk mean that, like, to conservatives as like this kind of lightning bolt thing, or?
No, I think they're just trying to make it.
Okay,
I think they just had those two names that they wanted to hit and see what the crowd reaction was. They're taking a litmus test of what's the mood of the nation right now, kind of through this. I betcha.
Yeah. I that's all I've seen of the roast was like Pete Davidson highlights and that one Tony joke.
Yeah, he was all right.
Not to interrupt, I'm very sorry. The guys down there just ran over our mailbox. They said they're going to put a new one in the ground tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So we get a nice new mailbox. I just thought I'd let you know.
All right. Well, that's fun because it was falling over a bit.
Yeah, that was coming down anyway.
But okay.
You have the most dangerous parking in the world.
Which is crazy because it's just a giant field.
It's a giant field
with one tree in it.
But 2 out of the 4 times I've last been here, someone has ran into something inside of it.
One time I had a girl over and she decided to back out of the driveway when it was dark and she just ran over the mailbox.
Why do people decide
And I
to be
fixed it
ballsy?
already. I've already fixed it since I've been here.
I'm not flashy with my car.
That's so stupid. But ultimately, people need to just like not drive so much. That has nothing to do with anything.
I love
Okay, but real quick before we finish on the roast stuff, I just want to say the very best joke, which was I think the most underrated joke, and if I'm wrong, maybe I'm pretty sure it was Big J Okerson said it, but he said somebody was so black that if he stood against a brick wall, the Roadrunner could jump through it.
Oh, that's not bad.
And I was like, that is just silly and funny.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. That's just like, that's what roaster. It's just like completely nonsense. And like, who's gonna get hurt by that? Like,
yeah.
Actually, that's kind of what that was peak for me. Like everybody can be mean, but like when you come up with something just like off the wall like that, literally off the wall.
I just think it's so funny, this weird stalemate the right and the left are in because of the roast, because both are deeply offended by one joke and deeply don't care about the other one. It's so weird to me.
And then I feel like most people aren't offended at all.
Yeah. I mean,
and are like, why don't we
not.
just move on with our lives?
I mean, I guess it's finally okay to make jokes about both of those things, but I mean, it's been okay the whole time. Just
no,
no
it's been
doing
okay.
It.
It's just like woke people would have reacted. But
Yeah.
now I think they've calmed
Like,
down
are
a
people
little bit.
mistaking the roast of Kevin Hart as like a celebration of black celebrity culture? Is that what's going on? Have there been roasts of other black
He's
people?
like the Uncle Tom of black people.
But have there been
too,
roasts of
by the
other
way.
black people?
I'm
If this is the
maybe.
first,
I mean, there's been.
this is the first ever roast of a black person, and half of it's George
I'm
Floyd.
trying to think
then maybe
if there was like a basketball, like an athlete. Was there a
Right?
LeBron James roast? Maybe.
That sounds like something that could have happened. It should be
Bill
easier.
Cosby. Was there a roast of Bill Cosby back in the day? Maybe.
I don't know, but it should be easier to come up with this.
But yeah.
So if it is the first one,
not
then
in
maybe
recent
I can
times.
see why certain lefties are like the first ever roast of a black man, and you make all the black jokes. Well, duh. I mean, that's part and
course.
parcel of the roast. But I guess I understand a little bit more where you're coming from. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, the best they could get for the black community is Kevin Hart. I think that's the insult.
Right? You know they tried to do The Rock first, I'm sure.
Is he the blackest you can get? What are you talking about?
I mean, Vin Diesel's black. Everyone forgets that.
Yeah. But anyway.
I'm talking because they do
Jokes
5,000 movies together. So
Yeah,
I'm sure
no,
he was
there. But I don't know. They tried to do Mike Tyson, I heard, but you know.
That would have been great because he
I'll have to
maybe
bleep
would have
that.
punched someone. I love that interview with Mike Tyson where the guy brings up his dead child in a polite way, but Mike Tyson, showing a lot of maturity, is like, "You're all gonna have to leave right now, okay? You're all gonna have to go now." Then, like,
That's
progress as fuck.
I mean, that's more than most people would do, probably.
Yeah.
Honestly.
He was showing a lot of control or restraint. Basically, he was being the most basic part of a normal functioning human being, and I'm very impressed by it. of like holding back anger, which is what we should all do on a daily basis. Charlie, I wrote a conspiracy theory. Do you want to hear my conspiracy theory that I came up with?
Okay, I'm into it. Let's go. I mean, I'll connect all the dots, but go ahead.
Yeah, you'll connect further dots, but I just need to get names right real quick.
Hey, we'll take this moment to let you know that you're very welcome to like, subscribe, and please do comment in the comments section. Let us know how dumb or smart we are, what the hell you think, and make a friend on there. I don't know, create a community. Glyph glitching, baby.
Am I saying this conspiracy is
Goon Nation
is true? No, but I am saying it's curious, and to me saying it's curious is pretty damning, because curious means there's actually some evidence to what I'm saying.
Yes. Go ahead.
So let me start off with a little story. I remember, like, when I was back in 2009, when I was like hitchhiking around and stuff. And I think down here, too, there were, like, Scientology people out posted outside of, like, Walmarts and stores or little Dianetic little metal bars. Do you remember when Scientology was, like, a little bit bigger?
I mean, it's always been kind of weird, like, not big, but, like, there's been a culture of it because Clearwater's
Well,
so
I think
close.
there was more of a campaign in the late 2000s, because now I don't see any of them anymore. But when I was traveling around, when I got to California, there were Scientologists just about everywhere. And I was like a street kid. So I was like sleeping in the park, sleeping in the alleys and stuff with other street kids. And there'd come a time where we wouldn't worry about lunch because the Scientologists would come and give us lunch and then measure our thetans or whatever on the metal bars.
Okay.
So that's the prologue to this story.
Let's go.
Are you hooked?
Dude,
okay, now I want to go back.
Scientology, let's take them down.
I want to go back to Los Angeles, California from, let's say, 1974 to 1978. I want to go to their high schools, and I want to go to the failing kids in the high school. I want to go to the junkies, the loners, the fucking burnouts, the kids who are at risk of failing. Well, Scientology got in with like Hollywood High and Los Angeles High, and they're like, well, let us teach your at-risk kids in something called the IPS program, and they'll still get a high school diploma. It's called the Innovative Program School, and it was run by Scientologists. Exactly, run by Scientologists, and they only got, though, the kids who were like skipping school or doing drugs or failing. They only got them in these specific years. And the classes were like, no one called anybody teacher. The instructor would just scream at you, trying to try to break you down, right? And you'd spend 30 minutes a day staring into the face of the person next to you and not saying anything, just completely being in their presence. It was about because Scientology firmly believes that we've been programmed by evil aliens or thetans, but really just by like society itself. So it's about like
it's deprogramming, really.
Yeah, but it's brainwashing, right? So in 74 to 78, there was a star pupil, and his name was Paul Beam. And Paul Beam, I love the man. I think he's a little retarded. But they tried to get him after high school to become basically a Scientology guy, to go out there and like teach people about Scientology. But he had other dreams. See, he just got this Sex Pistols album, and he was obsessed with Bowie. And his friend, who was also at IPS, George Rutherford, and him wanted to start a band. So they started a band called The Germs, which is one of the most famous punk bands of all time. Paul Beam is Darby Crash. George Rutherford is Pat Smear. They started The Germs together, and everything about The Germs' music is highly influenced by the manipulation tactics of Scientology, starting with like the entire making a facade of yourself, cutting yourself down, sometimes literally deconstructing everything, rebelling against programming of the state. I'm like, oh, okay, so that's interesting. So The Germs are pupils of Scientology. But that's just one band. Oh, wait. It was 4 years at the time when American hardcore was being formed. So we have members of Black Flag. We have members of Circle Jerks. We have members of Rich Kids on LSD. We have members of basically every bit, and Fear, every big punk band that came out of California were indoctrinated by Scientology from when they were 15 to at least 18.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who actually gave them high school diplomas if they received any. And I'm like, oh, well, that's actually really interesting. If punk rock, as we know it today, is a Scientology psyop, but I wish it went further than that. Then I'm like, oh, Zach, you idiot. Pat Smear is not just the Germs. In fact, he's the most cursed guitar player ever because every singer he plays for ends up killing themselves. Fingers crossed on the newest one. The Germs, and then he joined a little band called Nirvana after In Utero.
Oh, yeah?
And they joined Foo Fighters directly after that. Fingers crossed on Dave Grohl just biting it.
Yeah.
But...
Well, they got the drummer.
Yeah, but Pat Smear was indoctrinated by this Scientology thing as well. My conspiracy theory is that, yes, punk rock and the countercultural movement in America was a Scientology psyop.
Yeah.
Because all these kids were literally in the school systems in the special programs for Scientology.
So Scientology's like a cutout religion for the CIA, essentially.
Yeah?
And like completely, there's this huge connection between Hollywood and Scientology, the music industry and Scientology, even our boy Jared Leto that we were just talking about kissing Claire Danes, who works for the CIA. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's very, very connected, and then they use these propaganda tools, like basically everything we've ever been fed since the 50s, like maybe 2% is organic, just rose to the top because it was great, but most of it's garbage. Like that joining Nirvana, you know, like what's that whole Courtney Love is like connected to Scientology, and then her dad was toured with the Grateful Dead. The Grateful Dead were certainly a CIA LSD spreading psyop to get some, you know.
Well, I mean, and Darby Crash was the biggest LSD dealer while he was at the Scientology school as well, and they were always high on LSD in those classes, and sometimes did it with their instructors, who were Scientologists.
I think even there's something to SLC Punk, like that movie, like being kind of like the cap to. Like the thing, be like, or at least somebody who knew, being like, no, hey, let me like put it right next to.
But I will defend these punk rock guys because I don't. I think they were brainwashed and just basically they were like sleeper cells or Russian dolls. They wound them off and like dolls. Let them go off.
Bingo.
Because I don't think Darby Crash was receiving Scientology money. I don't think he's particularly smart. I do think he's the greatest American punk frontman, mostly because he was so terrible at what he did, but somehow it worked so well. Maybe Pat Smear knows a little bit more than he does, but like those early guys, I don't think were directly paid by the CIA. I think they were indoctrinated and then just set out into the wild,
they weren't,
and they kind of did their job without knowing they were doing it.
Yeah, that's the cutout part, and like they like part of it is to like keep the sheep, but the other part is to trigger the dissenters into, but like funnel that dissent into a direction, and then. I don't know. I think it is just like, you know, putting people who they think they can trust, who they certainly can't, you know, and just like helping them move the story along.
And I guess what I was trying to do with doing that preface to the story from my own personal experience is I love youth cultures and I love youth rebellions, no matter how co-opted or disingenuous or dangerous they are. I really hate organizations that deliberately prey on misfits, and Scientology, I think, has been doing this at least since then, because if I was a street kid, a little punk kid with the other ones, and they came over and tried to program us and indoctrinate us by being really nice to us and telling us about Dianetics and the Thetans and bullshit, and they were doing that back then, they haven't stopped doing that. Like, their core... Misfits aren't what gives them money, but I do think they believe their own bullshit, and I think that misfits propel whatever weird thing they have in their head forward, this destabilization, I'm not sure. But I do know that they prey on misfit subcultures and have been doing so since at least the birth of punk music up until now. If you're a misfit, they'll be coming to you.
No, I think like that's part of this new Christian movement. I think part of like AA is a little bit like that too. Like there's, people within that, not the whole thing, but like I think they use that as a funneling device to suck people into these programs or to create basically like wind up toys that like once they hear the trigger word or like once they see the movements on, they jump in.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. There's so many. I don't like everything is fake and gay, dude.
No, for sure. But there are certain caveats to. I think that punk rock was It's possible that punk rock was a Scientology psyop, but at the same time, the kids are stupid enough to be really sincere about whatever the hell they're saying. I still believe circle jerks and the germs. I just think that they don't know what like who they were doing it for. I think that because it's all of them. It's all like it's not just one band. It's all of the kids in LA were indoctrinated in the same process who were failing out of school, and of course those are all the punk kids. And it's not just the band. Some of them would go on to make the fashion of punk. Some of them would go on to be like scenesters and huge in the community. Like it was everybody. It was fucking. It
makes me think of how big orphan culture was back in the day, and it just kind of reminded me that like John Lennon, he was an orphan, like primed for programming. I don't know, like
and then latchkey kids made orphans of people who even had parents. I mean, the orphans of an entire generation, which everyone's just continued. I don't know why they get to be called the latchkey generation, where every single one since have also been latchkey kids.
Yes, yeah. Well, not all of us. Some of us were.
Well, like not everyone back then was a latchkey kid, but it's like it's still your parents' work. You probably come home to an empty house until like 7
now
p.m.
that I think, everybody has to be.
It's
unless you're like
but only they get to call themselves that. You just come home to an empty house until like 7 probably.
Yep.
But I hate these groups that prey on misfit subcultures. And I'm trying to see it in other places too.
Well, I mean, like they do it with sports, like soccer and basketball is like baseball. Like, hey, you're a poor kid from a small country, but get really good at sports, and maybe there's a way out of it. I think there's a lot of kids that get, like, some reach the top, but a lot of kids get like. I
prefer that to the Army recruiter doing the same exact thing, though.
No, it's cooler to play soccer.
It's
than
not just
blow
cooler.
People
it's
up. No, like for humanity.
Yeah, right. Like in school, do they still have Army recruiters just walking through the school, going up to kids smoking behind buildings, telling them about the military?
I know that like they have like probably a day where they come and like talk to the kids, have a little like conference.
I just hate that that's the playbook for every organization that.
I always found it like very interesting that like I don't know if you can confirm, but like from like 9/11 to COVID, all the Army commercials were in Spanish.
A lot of them were.
And then
well, at least all the Army people were minorities.
That's what I mean. Like I don't know. Isn't that fucked up, guys?
Yeah, but then the fucking right wing like threw a fucking fit when all the Army commercials were women. Like, okay.
Yeah, isn't that fucked up, guys? I don't know.
I think all Army commercials are pretty fucked up. But like, what's more fucked up than that is the propaganda that they don't tell you about. Like like Top Gun is completely funded by the Air Force.
Exactly.
Top Gun 1 and 2, and both films, both times, the Air Force and the Navy saw a huge increase in enlistees, in recruitments, and we're just supposed to think it's really awesome. Half these Marvel movies, or any action movie really, with like military grade equipment used, is actually from the military, and they get to say yes or no to the script entirely. Which is something we don't think about. John John Wick fucking 4 being funded by the military or The Matrix being funded by the
what
military.
What are you talking
about?
Keanu Reeves is a saint. He could never, ever be like actually in the Matrix. What?
He's done some beautiful art films, but every time
he wasn't
in
The Devil's Advocate. What are you
that's
talking about?
That's an awful movie.
Yeah, well, I think that
Charlize
was his
Theron
initiation.
was so hot then. I think that's when she was getting banged by the third eye blind dude. Did you know that the song Blind is about going down on her?
Who wouldn't?
I
wouldn't close my eyes though.
But the worst part of the Devil's she's probably the best part of the Devil's Advocate. The worst
she really
part
is actually
is not even Keanu, it's Al Pacino chewing up as much scenery as he can. I'm Lucifer, baby. Like, what is that? What are we doing? Fuck.
It reminded me of like he should have played Hades in Hercules like that.
James Woods did really
and then
good,
James Woods should have been.
Well, my favorite thing about that is that John Lithgow recorded the whole movie and they didn't like it, and then the last minute they got James Woods to do it, and they still invited John Lithgow to the premiere, and he didn't know he was replaced.
John Lithgow doesn't have a devil voice though.
Oh, unless you're going for a really gay devil voice.
Yeah, that's he has like a maybe like a Zeus voice, perhaps, like a little highbrow.
He has a Hermes voice. He has a
Hermes. Oh yeah. Wait, didn't he? No, who did Hermes?
I don't remember who else.
cares?
I just know Danny DeVito was in that. Who was the chick in Hercules?
Meg.
Yeah, but who voiced her? Was she hot?
It doesn't matter. The cartoon was, and we
cartoon
all believed
was really hot.
The voice matched the cartoon. We believed so.
I want to know if it did though. I need to know.
Huncules. That was actually one of the better Disney films, man. Good music, fun animation.
I mean, I'm sure when she was younger, yeah. I'm sure back at that time.
Oh, actually, yeah. Susan Egan, shout out.
Shout out. But so much is propaganda. You just have to like look further into it, and then the propaganda sucks because it's not even full propaganda.
Well, no, they give you the half truths, and they also give you the like my favorite thing recently has been watching those movies that like tell you the narrative, but like so that they tell you their narrative. Like I watched the movie Shock and Awe with Rob Reiner, right? And he basically the whole thing is these people talking about the Iraq War and like how there's weapons of mass destruction, and these newspaper people are like trying to find out, and they're finding out that that's not true, and then they're like asking questions and blah blah blah. But like, so they give you a lot of like, oh okay, this is like reality, and then they like also lie to you in the middle of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
And you're like, wait, okay, hold on though. I know that for like if I didn't like know before, I would have just believed.
Just propaganda's hitting you in like different or weird ways. Like, I love the James Bond franchise. It has to be propaganda for something, but it's hard for me to believe that it's propaganda for MI6, especially like the Daniel Craig ones, because MI6 are like the bad guys half the fucking time, but it is still propaganda. So then you have to use your little analyzing mask and like look into what the film is trying to tell you.
No, yeah, it's the narrative. Like if you watch all the Mission Impossibles, like this is the new bit I'm working on is like finding the conspiracy.
But like the first one though, yeah, the first one is basically the Secret Service is the bad guy. Basically,
there's a list of people connected to this French lady named Max, and the list can't get out, and it's his job to make sure that list doesn't get out or shit'll go down. The second one, there's this like virus that was man-made in a lab, and they also made the cure, and they plan on releasing the virus to sell the cure. The third, or like I forget what the third one is, but the fourth one's just this like AI thing in a submarine.
Is that the one where he's climbing on the side of the building?
I forget.
Suction cups. It's terrible.
Maybe. No, I don't know. But anyway, all those things like happen. Like they're like true things, but they're like not true, but they're like, oh, but the theme
but I don't think
absolutely true.
I don't think that film's saying too much about that. specifically.
I don't think it's commenting on it. I
Right.
just think it's nodding to it.
Right. I think that like the Daniel Craig Bond movies, I like them, but I think they're propaganda for culture itself having to kill a certain aspect of masculinity.
I think they're pro like world government. That's like the mission. Is they're like
not so
they're
much
justifying the
with Daniel
the use
Craig.
of people who live outside of the government to keep the safety of the masses, but then they're also saying that like because of that, this people are are protecting everybody, so therefore we should all be kind of globalists.
Well, that could be true if fucking MI6 weren't the bad guys in some way. In
Well,
almost every
MI6 are the
fucking
bad
movie.
guys, and guess who gets to replace the British Empire is the
Right.
new European empire that
The Craig
global.
ones were doing things with gender and telling us certain things about gender. I mean, from Casino Royale and up, but the one of the most famous shots from all of Bond is fucking Honey Ryder walking out of the ocean in her bikini, or Halle Berry walking out of the ocean in a bikini. In Casino Royale, that's flipped to Daniel Craig walking out of the ocean in a Speedo.
It's true.
It's extraordinarily homoerotic,
Yeah,
to the point where at one point Javier Bardem's villain is torturing him and saying like, "Is this your
hitting
first
him
time
in
with
the
a
balls,
man?"
Yeah.
He says, "Is this your first time with a man?" And Craig's like, "What makes you think this is my first time?" So there's a very
He is the gayest Bond.
and also they killed him. Like Bond dies, right? So I think it's saying that part of masculinity, it's all about like, not, I want to say toxic, but like he is reprimanded for being a sociopath throughout his entire
For
film
being a
run.
spy, he falls into a lot of booby traps.
Right, right. But he is reprimanded a lot for, or his sociopathy is like highly discussed and analyzed throughout that entire thing. Like, is he a fucking sociopath? Well, yeah, probably. So that we have to
Yeah.
kill that part of
No, but
masculinity.
like he's been trained to be like that because
Which makes the MI6 so bad, like
Yeah.
throughout the entire like franchise. But it's still propaganda for something. I think it's propaganda for
you
a
always
certain
are
type
rooting
of-
for Bond, even though you know he's the bad guy. You always root
Well,
for him. I think that's part of it too.
They
It's
did
like,
make the villains really cool though. Like Silva is like the Joker in Javier Bardem's is like the Joker.
yeah,
and you love
they
watching
do have
him.
pretty decent villains.
Yeah,
to
it's
be
like
fair.
a Batman thing. Like, do I want Batman to win? Not
That's
really.
I think
I don't
also
know.
a similar project going on of blurring the lines between who the good guys and the bad guys are, and like what is justice. If you think like they're kind of empathizing with evil
Yeah.
and making that normal, and I think like we get to like the Dark Knight and it's the peak of it.
Well,
like,
it completely like
emphasized-
that's such a cool movie, but it is
empathy.
conservative propaganda at the end of the day. Absolutely. If you want Batman to win, it's conservative propaganda because Nolan he's like Alan Moore with V for Vendetta. He doesn't give you like a nuanced choice, right? You can choose fascism or anarchy.
Yeah.
And I choose anarchy, but if you choose fascism, that comes with all of the loss of social, the loss of security and privacy and everything. It comes with all of that. With anarchy, of course, it comes with chaos and
the danger and the complete responsibility that you have to have now.
And that was the problem and the strength of Alan Moore's V for Vendetta as well. Like you can choose fascism or anarchy. You can't choose anything in between. Apparently, we're being faced with this binary. But I think most people would choose like. If you choose fascism over anarchy, then I don't know if I can really relate to you. Like,
It doesn't make any sense to me personally.
like when Michael Caine says some men just want to watch the world burn, I think Nolan wants us to have shivers up our spine. I get inspired, not in a cool, edgy way. I'm just that's
it's
awesome.
Like, there's a function to the destruction of the past.
But that feeds into
Whether
something that
it's
you
good or
talk
bad,
about of like the divine feminine and the other one being masculine, right? It's this war. Maybe I know that's an eternal struggle, but I think it's made its way into more popular like discussions since The Dark Knight. We've really V for Vendetta as well. Like we focused on that binary, and it's a harsh binary. Like there's no center. There's no character. If a character is the center, it's Two-Face in The Dark Knight, and he ends up having to embrace chaos because his life of fascism turned to complete hell.
Yeah. Does Two-Face ever come back to the light?
In the comics, every once in a while he does, but he's psychopath. He's psychotic.
He stays kind of. He'll like maybe help, but not really.
Sometimes he tries to help. I think he got plastic surgery at some point, you know, but it doesn't solve much. He always goes back to being bad. But
I think also this the end goal of the blurring the line between good and evil and having like the empathy for the evil person as well is like this ultimately like Luciferian, like I'm above good and evil kind of thing. Is like there is no good and evil, which isn't where we live.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like a divine concept, and like Aleister Crowley fucks with that kind of shit, and like
I think people who actually believe that are dictators. Like are really bad people.
You can't live like that. Yeah. Like that can be true, but like there's the practice of that is impossible to do without becoming a dictator or like pushing everybody below you or like there's no, I don't know.
And for the record, there are way more options than just fascism and anarchism. Like there's whole
some spectrum. Middle ground for sure.
That's the spectrum.
Yeah.
But I think what you said fascinating. I'm going to go to it, or I have to make one more point about Christopher Nolan's little conservative propaganda bullshit. Remember the third movie he made with Bane?
Yes.
Bane is literally parroting Occupy Wall Street, right? He goes to Wall Street and beats the shit out of everybody and says, like, we're the fucking 99% essentially.
Yeah. And
in the movie, he's evil. So, like, if you had any doubts that fucking Nolan's Batman movies are conservative propaganda, please don't have any. The first one is all Ayn Rand, you know, Batman Begins is like, maybe the rich messiah figure could save us all. You know, the billionaire can save us.
No. Ooh, I'd never heard that sentence before, the Ayn Rand lens, but that is exactly what Batman is. Precisely. Is like, no, let us give us your the greats will give charity and that'll solve everything.
Iron Man falls into the same thing. And
he doesn't have to lose any of his money, by the way.
Exactly. Iron Man falls into the same thing, but Iron Man is constantly, at least Tony Stark in the comics and in the films, is constantly criticized for his shallowness, for his like latent like psychopathy with his money. He's constantly criticized by everyone else, so there is it's less conservative propaganda.
There's like a check.
He's constantly checked by the Gwyneth Paltrow character or Spider-Man. Captain America, everybody's checking him until he does the ultimate sacrifice throughout that film series and in the comic books. And he's an alcoholic. And Bruce Wayne's just a trauma addict. Like Bruce Wayne is just
Bruce Wayne's a Karen.
Well, he's a trauma addict, right? Like, I think Batman's cool, but
what did I say?
A trauma or a Karen?
A Karen, a trauma addict.
But like this Luciferian idea above it all.
Yeah, I think that's the ultimate like propaganda goal that they're going for is blur the line of good and evil so that people can like just be like, oh, there is no good and evil, and then that way you can get like actually manipulated.
Well, that's definitely like a relativist. Evil, like that's the relativist idea of it, right? Because I think it's fun for philosophical exercises, right? If we wanted to go, there's no truth, no good and evil, if we can be like that. But I have seen more of a push for that in popular culture, and I don't think it's something that I'm going to sound elitist maybe, but that's not a philosophical exercise for the masses, because I don't think it's an exercise. It shouldn't really be. Yeah,
it's not like a practice. You can't live like that. It's like there's meditation and then there's humming while you do the dishes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like one actually does something.
Like that's always that was like an old tactic that Christians would use against atheists of like, okay, well, where do you get your morality from? Like the answer to that shouldn't now be there's no morality. Like there's always an answer to where you get your morality from.
Yeah.
But I can see like where this thing started to get more traction. Like someone eventually went like, fuck Dawkins and Hitchens. How about I say there is no morality, fuck morality. Mm-hmm. And like, okay, well, I guess
morality is a human construct.
Yeah, I guess you get out of that argument easily. Yeah.
It is a human construct. However, because we're humans in this construct, we got to play by a different set of rules.
Well, it's a human construct, and almost everything is a human construct if we're talking about like intangible things. But I also believe in human rights, worldwide human rights, and we actually have worldwide human rights laws that you can we as an entire globe have agreed that like you shouldn't murder. Shouldn't genocide. We as an entire globe agree that. That isn't something that's like, oh, well, in fucking this country, genocide's cool.
Oh, we're still going. Sorry. No, in no country is genocide cool.
No, like human rights laws exist and stuff, and genocide is not a human construct. You know, like I think morality is not necessarily a human construct. Do I think like it's largely cultural? Sure, maybe 90% of our shared morality is cultural, but that 10% of don't commit genocide and like
don't steal, don't destroy something that isn't like somebody has worked hard on, like. Yeah,
I could play the game and understand that, like that rape and like other things and theft are like not are looked upon differently in different cultures. I can play that game, but I can also say that those other cultures are wrong.
Yeah,
are wrong, especially about maybe theft. I don't give a fuck about, but like I think should also be one of those human rights laws things if it's not already. I just see where they're coming from. It's just they're flirting with nihilism while acting like total pussies about it.
Yeah.
Like postmodernism's really cool. You can't you can't be like a postmodernist. A postmodern like living your life. Postmodernism is a tool of deconstruction to analyze art and politics.
Right,
and all that.
right.
I think every postmodernist is truly an existentialist who believes you create your own meaning.
That's a good way to think. It's like there's pie charts or like line charts.
Yeah.
Like that's just one of the graphs you can look at the world like, but it's not how you like run the program of the world.
And that's why people hate Marxism so much. But Marxism, as it stands, is just a fairly decent philosophical deconstruction of world democracy. That's all it is. But in that same token, maybe you shouldn't be you can't be a communist in the same way you can't really be a postmodernist. But Marxism is a useful tool to use if you're looking at politics and you're trying to deconstruct certain things. Capitalism should just be a tool. It shouldn't be a way of life, but...
Yeah. Well, I mean, our problem is that it's never been, like, fair. It's never been fair capitalism. So...
But it just seems like everyone talks about how communism's so easy to corrupt, and it's true. But so is capitalism. The only thing, though, is that if you corrupt capitalism, it runs more efficiently, and that's the problem with capitalism.
The bottom part still runs... It's just like not creating as much.
Yeah.
But like the top part creates a lot more. But like the whole thing is still kind of spinning around. Each gear is moving.
Somehow capitalism was designed to reward very, very bad behavior.
Right.
Communism's way more fragile. If you corrupt one part of it, the whole thing turns into a dictatorship overnight. But
especially toward the bottom.
Yeah, capitalism's scarier though because it just gets stronger and stronger the weaker and weaker its populace gets.
I guess that's kind of the argument for having communism is that like if you're gonna have any form of government that's gonna be oppressive, at least have one that you can like stall the gears to at the bottom. I've never like thought about it like that, but I guess I could hear.
I thought you were doing a Stalin.
Oh no, not even not even a pun, but yes, the pun.
I was like pun and insight.
But like no, like actually you can make the gears stop at the bottom, which actually has an effect at the top. Whereas capitalism, you could stop at the bottom and not show up to work, and guess what? They're just gonna export the labor or whatever. They're still gonna make their money.
I mean, we're stuck in this capitalist game, whether we like it or not. And I've lived in capitalist worlds my entire life, but I can't really, outside of like my days as a street kid, I can't realistically imagine a world or living in a world that's not capitalist, probably. Which is like sad and frightening, but like even if I go to a society that's more barter based, I'll be thinking about barter as currency, right? I'll be thinking that way.
The concept of like having a coin represent a certain value and then like exchanging that instead of exchanging a bunch of chickens at a time, like that makes sense, and like of course we should do like that. But how do we do that without like paying the tax man?
It all sucks. Like, and to go to the misfit like punk subculture thing, like every rebellion under capitalism just is big picture wise doomed to fail, insincere, disingenuous. Like there's no good way to do it. Like I'll just do like a quick little thing. No Effects and Propaganda had a huge falling out. Mm-hmm. Propaganda they're still good. They're still cool, but they're like Canadians or whatever. So
Propaganda.
They call themselves Propaganda. We call them Propaganda.
It's so much funnier as Propaganda, though.
But propaganda is the
I get
pun.
it, but you can do both with Propaganda.
But nothing is propaganda. So I think they're right.
No, they should have just...
Dude, I thought about this for like 15 minutes.
Agree to disagree.
I think that Propaganda is right.
Agree to disagree.
And Propaganda are still making music, and they're still talking about stuff. Their guitar player is actually from Tampa. I think I've been someplace she was at, but for just some random fucking chick from Tampa. But who's very good. But they're still making music, and they're still really good. But they had a falling out back in like the mid 2000s, and Propaganda, they're such sniveling assholes. I love them. They were on Fat Records, Fat Mike's record label, and they wrote a song. I fucking forgot the title of it actually, but the first line of it is like, I love that fucking music video where that fat fuck boy billionaire with a mohawk tells me about who to vote for. It was just a diss thing against Fat Mike. Mm-hmm. And in the album liner notes, like in the album artwork, there's pictures of Fat Mike shaking John Kerry's hand and stuff like that, and George Soros as well, like all throughout the artwork.
Ding, 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 talking about punk being funded.
I think it was called Rock for Sustainable Capitalism, actually, is what the song was called. So Fat Mike was stuck in this situation of like, do I put out this fucking record or do I look like an asshole and tell them they can't put this out because it's all about me being a jerk? He's like, but I was being super punk rock. I just wanted to get rid of Bush. And they're like, yeah, but fuck both sides is our point. Like, we're punks. We don't like both sides. And you're hanging out with George Soros, getting him to fund your record label and your Rock Against Bush bullshit.
Yeah.
Fat Mike did put it out and then drop them from the label, but he did put it out.
That's fun.
I saw that the other day and I was like, Propaganda is awesome. But like, even that youth movement, Fat Mike, I think, is too stupid to realize like what he was actually doing wasn't punk rock. And also, being a millionaire off your own private business, that might be libertarian cool, but it's not punk cool. Like, a millionaire is not punk. I mean, I don't know what to tell you,
I don't think a punk can actually be
alive.
Well... You could be a libertarian, but like you can't be a rich libertarian.
Or you got to be upfront about being libertarian.
Because if you're a punk, you believe that once you've taken your fill, you don't need any more.
Exactly.
Like you're a minimalist essentially as well, and you would be a supporter of community and arts if you were a punk. So that's where all your extra money would go, is towards somebody starting something else. So there's no rich libertarian punk.
No,
and but you can be a libertarian punk and reach a state.
Well, even
where
Fat Mike now still has that stupid fucking mohawk, and he opened up a punk rock museum in Las Vegas and was given the key to the city. And it's just all these different ways of siphoning money out of this scene that died a long time ago. Meanwhile, Propaganda, they're still trying to make music about like growing up and having kids in this world that you think is like now just doomed.
See, that's interesting music to me. I want to hear a 40-year-old mom in an apartment trying to make rent punk.
No, it's good. It's good. In 2017, they were the only punk band to me that directly took on like the Trump and fascist thing globally with an album called Victory Lap, which is so funny. Of like, we did it, guys, didn't we? Didn't we do it?
We won. Mission accomplished.
And then their newest album just came out called At Peace, and just trying to fucking survive in a world that they think is going to hell in a handbasket, and there's really no way.
It's crazy because did you know that like even once we get peace, did you know peace never ends well? So we're screwed either way.
Well, the song itself is I'm at peace, but temporarily convulsed with grief. It's like it's good. It's good actual mature punk music, and they're the only ones who are doing it.
Here's a peace campaign. Rest in peace.
Just saying.
Pop, pop, pop.
Misfit campaigns are bought. Everything's... Well, that's a problem with capitalism. Capitalism buys everything. It's not a problem. That's how it functions. That's how
that's
its
the
thing.
unfortunate characteristic of it is it wants to expand and nothing actually stops it except a better idea. But if that's the best idea, then it'll just eat the whole thing.
That's the terrifying part of capitalism is, and all world governments is like what it does to the people, right? So like, under communism, like you should be seeing each other as comrades to like help, or you'd be measuring their abilities and telling them what to do based on their ability. Under capitalism, I think you do start to view people more. You objectify them more, like
they're customers.
They're products or something, or like I think a lot of us don't like meeting strangers because they're trying to sell us a personality, sell us drugs, sell us something.
How about making ourselves into products over the past? Like that's all social media is conditioning ourselves to be the product.
It's just, am I supposed to be mad at social media or capitalism? Because we were doing that without the social media before. We were just doing it in real life, so I don't really know. Obviously, the real life one is probably healthier, but at the same time, you're still doing the same thing. Like you're going out there.
You're creating a persona, but like versus creating a brand.
Yeah.
Like I'm a brand, and then thinking about yourself like that versus a persona is a little bit healthier. Well, this is how I think project myself to others.
Like, what's rebellious youth culture now is hustle culture, which is ridiculous.
The kids are capitalists hard.
Yes.
It's weird. They all want to start a fucking business. And
they're all grinding. They're all Aziz Ansari from Parks and Recreation, and they don't fucking know it.
Yeah, only they're more like John Ralphio. But
I want to be John Ralphio. If I was a capitalist, I'd be
But that's
John
their mentality is very much like that, which is fascinating.
But it's the opposite of rebellious culture. But
it's buying in.
It's buying directly into it.
They just want to be the one that actually gets to the top. But like y'all are suckers.
It's psychotic grind, bro. Like I don't. But it's like I participate in it. You participate in it. You have to participate in it if you're in it. Like you can't not.
You have to. You're allowed to consent to as much as you want to, and make sacrifices.
I could go back to being a street kid. It's just I feel like with that I'm presented with a crazy binary of like I could be free and homeless,
anarchist,
or fucking complicit
fascist
and
boy.
Comfortable. Yeah, I feel like that's the binary again. I'm like fuck. Like the homeless people are mostly free. Like if you're homeless and you swindled a fucking coffee from McDonald's, I'm not gonna call you participating in capitalism. You scammed your way into some money.
Yeah,
but that's still such a harsh binary of homeless and free, or complicit but comfortable.
But like, I don't know. We don't even live in a society or world where like being homeless just outside of town is like like you'll get arrested.
Oh yeah, here for sure.
You'll get brought to a shelter or something. Like nobody's.
You'll get to jail.
You're not even allowed to choose that life really, unless you actually go out into the woods in a national park, which is even illegal.
Yeah,
so
that's why That's why when I went hitchhiking, I knew I had to get to the West Coast. I just knew it. To hate Ashbury, I had to get to like San Francisco and LA. I had to get to those places. And in those places, yeah, there's a whole huge subculture. LA was scarier, but like San Francisco, huge culture of like punks, bohemians, weirdos, whatever, just living like on the streets, living in parks together. The cops never swept through. LA was scarier because punks, blah, 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 but also runaways.
They do
also
sweep.
Kids who were like 14,
they
15.
Sweep all the time.
And they swept there.
Especially, like, if you're in a town, they just, like, not want you in the park.
But
they
in
want the kids to play in the
California,
park. And that
it
makes
is like
sense
a
to
lot.
me, but, like, at the same time,
but
like,
in California, it's
you
a
gotta
whole
live
different
somewhere.
concept, especially to hitchhiking too. Because I'd have my thumb out, and they'd be doing these the drivers would be doing these hand gestures that I didn't understand until someone else told me that, like, if they do this, it means they have only a short while to go. Like, there's like a language between drivers and hitchhikers there. Down here, I couldn't hitch out of this state. I had to buy a Greyhound out of the South because I can't catch a ride.
You up here until you get to maybe a mountain town in Virginia or Tennessee or something.
North Carolina was where I finally got a ride.
No one in the South will pick you up.
No,
we
but
don't hitch
West
around
Coast.
here.
West Coast is totally different. Like that subculture exists. They understand traveling kids, the whole Into the Wild, Alexandra Supertramp kids. They're all out there.
I feel bad for any like foreigners that are like, oh, I'm going to go to America and hitchhike, and they start in Miami. Bad idea, bro. I'll go to Miami to New York, LA, and
one of the kids who fucking hitched with me through Big Sur, the national park and stuff, was from Britain, and I hated him because at the very end, I liked him.
He was a twat.
I liked him on the journey, but I could tell he was being more of a tourist than I was. Like, I didn't have any money then. But he did, apparently, because when we got to Santa Barbara, just out of Big Sur, he said bye and went and got a hotel. And I was like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you had this money all this time?
He was playing the pauper.
Like, motherfucker,
vacation.
if I had... Yeah, he was doing it for, like, a class.
Yeah.
Thinking that I was, like, an on-the-road Jack Kerouac character.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought I was, too.
My American experience.
But if I had money... We would not have been sleeping in bathrooms and then in Big Sur under tarps in the fucking woods. I would... Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you had this all this time and you were making me beg for money for us to eat bagels?
Golly, guys. I'm going to be such a better homeless person than a lot of you guys when the world ends.
I did fine.
I'm
Okay?
gonna be
but in Big Sur, I asked for some food and they gave me like LSD instead. It was amazing. I just sat there high on a rock. But in San Francisco, there are all these different like programs, right? I never had to worry about eating because 5 different places on Haight-Ashbury gave free food to homeless kids. And I never had to worry about showering because like a hike over, I could take a shower and even wash clothes if I wanted to. Like, it was its own little ecosystem that we don't have here.
But who's
like funding those
who's
buildings?
paying for
I
that?
don't fucking know. It wasn't my business. They were just giving me food.
Yeah. What are the tax rates in California?
Oh, I never had to pay those. I mean, it was a truly free homeless existence.
See, there's no such thing as free lunch, man.
It was
cost
for
somebody
me, man.
something, and
well, people are nicer there.
That's
like, if I was spanging, they'd give me like a $20 bill.
Yeah, no, I mean, people can't afford to be more kind and generous.
Like,
and
I went to
just,
the
like,
gay
selfless,
district, and it was
but-
just raining money because I was a little bit more handsome back then. And when I was 19, just raining money.
a little twink.
I probably looked like a little spike here, a little twink. But then in LA though, this one dude came up to me and like three other people and was like, "Hey, any of you need to use a phone? I got one in my van." And
you do, buddy.
He would not leave us alone. And that was...
Is it attached to that camera?
The kids in LA didn't tell me anything. We slept under a pier, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then one night, they weren't there. I'm like, well, I guess I have the whole place to myself. And I wake up almost drowning, because apparently that's the night of the high tide. Like, I wake up, like, drowning to death. I see them later. Like, thanks for fucking telling me.
Oh, what?
Yeah, the camaraderie is a lot better
It
in
might
San
be
Francisco.
my most scary dream. What? No, I can't believe you put that in my head.
Yeah, it was under
Now
a
I'm
pier
terrified.
too, so like I had to I hit my head on one of the pieces. It was right next to the basketball court from American History X, and I remember thinking, I'm not dying next to the basketball court from American History X. But San Francisco was a lot better. Like people, if there were new kids who showed up, there'd be like elder ones who'd like get them acclimated. It was like an actual. They were more hippies,
Cult?
so they were more. Well, yeah, they were like rainbow gathering hippie people. So they did that. That was their lives. So they'd like get kids acclimated into things and tell them like the hustle and where to get food or coffee or whatever the hell they wanted. L.A. it was just everyone for themselves, and also some of those fucking Bloods and Crips everywhere too. I thought they were, only in video games.
No, they're IRL.
Sorry, this went totally off the rails.
No, I don't know what we were planning on talking about. So
I mean, it's all been political to a certain extent. It's just, well, I think I need to take a nicotine break. Really
all
quick,
right,
and then we'll come up with a 15-minute thing to say.
How do you want to end this?
I don't know.
All jokes are fine, and
yeah.
Obviously, maybe there's something to communism, but capitalism's cool. But ultimately, anarchy, responsibility.
I think that anarchy is the best, but also the binary doesn't exist. You don't have to be either homeless or a millionaire. Obviously, there's a whole spectrum of lifestyles in between. I do think that some vary in how complicit you are with a system you might or might not support, but it's not just anarchist or fascist. There's 1,000 rungs like on the ladder, and I don't know. That's what I was worrying with. Of like, you can either be totally complicit or just at the mercy of the fucking universe. And it was sucked.
Well, ultimately, we are just kind of at the mercy of the universe, and then we control our perspective. So
yeah, but then you get those Luciferian people, or like the true billionaires who are like, I create the universe.
Yeah, they think so, but we don't have to consent to their creation. We could override theirs with ours.
It's just scary when they corner us, and then like,
I think it really is like a collective consciousness. Like if everybody's looking at the same thing, that really changes how things. Like if we're all just think to ourselves like, we don't need this anymore. Then I just need my neighbors and my friends and the guy down the street who sells that thing. I'll work with him and he can work with me.
Like the most unrealistic form of protest that I want this country to do, and it'd be easy. But it also is entirely unrealistic, and it would destabilize everything, and we'd be in control. It's just one day.
Everybody take off work, right?
Yes.
Dude, but it has to be everybody the same day.
Yes.
Every bank, every Amazon driver, everybody works at Uber.
It's so unrealistic, but that's all it takes.
But literally, because we would lose, the however much you make that day, between $80 and thousands of dollars or whatever. You'd lose that day's work. They would lose billions and billions of dollars, guys. So let's pick a day. How about July 4th?
Right? Like all of us just one day.
Most of us don't have work anyway.
Yeah. It's so unrealistic, but it makes me so mad because it's so easy. So easy. Just everyone just don't fucking go.
Even more harsh, though, how about the day after Thanksgiving?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody buy nothing.
Oh, yeah, and this doesn't mean stay home and shop, guys.
No, I mean, like, don't buy shit.
Yeah.
Just that day. You could buy shit the day before.
Yeah.
You could buy shit the day after.
You can buy 1,000 things a day
I'm not
after.
saying go without. I'm saying plan accordingly so nobody buys shit that day.
Yeah.
Black Friday.
One day out of every day you've ever lived. One day.
Let's just start a new tradition. Every Black Friday, we say fuck globalism.
Yes.
And then the next day is Local Business Saturday. So go support that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty rad, actually.
All right, cool.
That's
there you go.
Place.
GLYPHGLITCH.